Yeah, that'll be episode 17 next week. Our guest co-host Pat Murphy, your former head coach at the University of Alabama. So join us for that. That'll be a lot of fun. This week, episode 16. And of course, follow us on social media at Jim Tara and at Coach_Cassie RB on Instagram, at Coach Cassie RB on Twitter. All right, today, purpose of evaluations. I don't think many coaches do evaluations with their players. I think a lot of times, and if they don't use enough video, they're certainly not doing enough evaluations. There's so many drills out there. God, I saw one last night, and I'm not trying to knock it, but I saw a drill on Instagram last night, and it was perfect timing because we were recording the show today of a hitter who had a kind of like a beach ball type deal. Like a big rubber ball that they put between a right-handed batter, and they put it between the elbow and the forearm, and then they swung and the ball was released and it popped out. And I didn't really understand the purpose of that drill, right? And I'm going off here editorializing, sorry. But the reason that I think you do evaluations, there's two types of evaluations, right?
Mm, I think so. Yeah. I mean, you're going to have some for your older, more experienced athletes, and then some
Right.
for maybe younger, less experienced athletes. Not to say
Mhm.
you can't have an older, unexperienced athlete or a younger, experienced athlete, right? But you're really trying to figure out, okay, um, where can I meet this athlete halfway? If I get a 12-year-old that kind of just started playing softball a year or two ago, I'm not putting them through a full biomechanical evaluation and testing all these things. That's not what they need. And then, taking a little bit of a further step back, I work in a private sector. I
Mhm.
don't work with a college team. I don't work with a travel team. I don't have a team that is really just required to work with me. So, it's a side that doesn't really get talked about as much, but I really have to sell in that evaluation then too. If that's my first interaction with the athlete and the parent, because I'm getting evaluated by them just as much as I am evaluating the athlete, because they're trying to decide, is this worth our time, our money, our effort? And that's just, going to a different level of professionalism. It's not just, all right, come on in, let's get your metrics in, boom, 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 let's get out. It's like, no, the purpose of that evaluation is not just the metrics. It's not just to take a look at how you move and how your swing operates. It's, hey, let's get to know you. Let's make sure you get to know me. Let's make sure we have enough time to interact and you can ask questions. When we do this evaluation or when we do test this metric, this is why we're testing it. This is what it tells us about, and this is how it's going to guide your future training. So, not that I think that should be overlooked at any other level. Just I think it's really important in the private sector to be able to sell yourself and showcase yourself as a professional.
Yeah. So when you mentioned private sector, it's a good point. How do your evaluations differ from an evaluation of a player as it pertains to a major league team, for example?
I'm actually not sure. I'm getting an opportunity to go to a Pirates camp in a couple of weeks, so I will
Mhm.
have more information on exactly how a major league baseball
Mhm.
team goes about it. But
Yeah.
I have had insight from just asking certain people at that major league level, certain things. I think it really boils down to when you're at that major league level, you have a Rolls Royce that you need to put a waxing coat on and a shine to, right?
Yeah. I
When you
like
have a
Rolls
younger
Royce.
right, when you have a younger athlete that is potentially not even professional bound, you have like a like frame of a car that you get to build now. And I think it's very different considerations then, which then would lend to very different evaluations. You probably don't want to make these massive adjustments and corrections on someone who is, 22, 23, 24, because that's not how they're going to develop. If anything, you're trying to get baseline measurements to say, okay, this is the profile we're currently at. Here's our exit velocity. Here's what our mechanics look like. Here's what our, blast profile, let's say, looks like, hit tracks, whatever that may be. And then what you're trying to do is say, where are our opportunities to expand upon? But you're not trying to completely change. And why that is so valuable is, let's say come season, they enter into a slump. Let's say they enter into an injury. Now you have some type of metrics to go off of to measure their swing profile. That obviously differs a little bit from a 12-year-old, a 13-year-old, a 14-year-old that we might get in the building.